Hey, I'm Ray Latif. I'm the managing editor of BevNet. We're here on the Livestream Lounge here at BevNet Live, Summer 2017. I'm joined by Jim Tonkin, the founder of Healthy Brand Builders. Jim, how are you?
I'm doing absolutely awesome at this event. How can you be anything else?
Oh, thanks for saying that. You've been coming to this event for some time.
Since the first one, Ray.
Since the very first one.
21 years.
And you've been involved, clearly you've been involved in the beverage industry for a long time. Tell me a little bit about your background in the business and what Healthy Brand Builders does.
Sure. I think you may remember this. I started in the business as a soft drink bottler back in 1973. So you can do the math, folks. And sold out of that business in 1982. Kind of started a couple of entrepreneurial companies in the potato chip business and the cheese business, and then went into the banking business of all things to learn a little bit about finance. In 1987, we exited the bank, and I hung out a consulting shingle, which basically meant you were unemployed back then. And that was 31 years ago.
Yep.
So I've been in this space for almost 44 years, if you do the math, from 73. Our practice, Healthy Brand Builders, is an accelerator and incubator of small to medium-sized companies where we take a look at the market and analyze businesses that have what we think is the recipe for potential success. We all know that this market is fraught with about 92% mortality, so trying to find your way through that process and make sure that the mortality doesn't seep into our brands is part of our gift. We help on all the way from incubation to exit strategy and financing. So brand building, supply chain management, we have in-house CFO, we have regulatory counsel as part of our group, marketing, sales, so pretty much it's a one-stop shop.
And you've had some experience in building brands in the past, some notable ones, including Zico and Suja.
Indeed, it's I've been very fortunate, but I've just been a part of those brands, board members and investor. But in this business, you don't get that many big wins. There aren't that many people that have done it multiple times. So when you look at the Lance Collinses and the Mike Rapolis of the world, you can learn from those guys who are masters at making this happen.
Yeah.
I just feel very blessed that I get a chance to work with young, emerging, thoughtful, smart entrepreneurs that have an idea, and we try to make a determination as to whether there should be white space there and they should go back to what they were doing before they came up with this idea, or whether it really has legs and we can get to the end zone with it.
Well, you mentioned you're an investor too, and there's a lot of entrepreneurs here at the show that are looking for investment and they're looking to meet with angel investors. What's the investment climate like for innovative ideas and innovative concepts?
Well, I would say it's pretty energetic right now. As you know, there's quite a few private equity and family office representatives just in the building today here in New York. I think they're here because they see opportunity in the beverage world. Beverages used to be a very simplistic business years ago, Ray, when we produced bottled water and carbonated soft drinks.
Right.
And we've come a long ways. The functional beverage space is pretty on fire right now. We've seen dramatic growth in the last 10, 12 years. You and I were kind of talking off mic as to whether or not the business is kind of in a lull or not. I don't really see that. I know that there's some brands in our portfolio right now I'm incredibly proud of. I think are blazing new trails in new space. I don't really take brands on, our company doesn't, with Me Too and copycat kind of orientation. I came from that business when I produced carbonated soft drinks. So I'm looking for new and innovative and fresh.
And you've met some of those brands here at BevNet Live in the past. But to be attractive to an angel investor, what do these brands need to bring to the table? What do they need to have for you so that can sort of whet the palate, as it were?
It's a great question. There's a lot of subjectivity that takes place at the beginning. I get about 35 to 40 business plans a month.
Wow.
I must say, a month. Wow. I would venture to say that over 50% go right into the garbage, in no disrespect to the author, but there's a lot of cutting and pasting and things that are just not interesting to read. I know Glasso sold for $4.15 billion. I don't need to be told that. What I'm looking for is people that are willing to think about a process. Why am I putting this product together in the market? Why did I choose this pouch package as an example on the H factor hydrogen water instead of putting it in a PET container.
Right. The
The company has an answer to that. Why did this company, I just drank their product that's amazing from Hawaii, called Sporting Club. It proudly has pineapple, chlorophyll, electrolytes, and probiotics, all in the same product. And I will tell you, this product tastes amazing. So they did a super job.
Yeah.
And to your point, that is the #1 consideration for me.
Yeah.
If the product tastes good, they're going to get through my screen immediately.
Right.
If it doesn't, then my people, I have a flavorist that's been 35 years in the business that will help us go through that process to maybe make changes. Because if it doesn't taste good, repeat purchase is not going to be there.
Yeah.
So I think that's what the investment community looks for as well. They want something that they believe they can grow, that they can get into. If it's a private equity firm, as an example, they're looking to be out in 5 to 7 years. So that means they've got to have a good multiple on whatever investment they make, just somewhere around 5 to 7x, right? And they're not going to invest in something that they don't think can go from 3 million to 30 million.
Management is also a key, excuse me, to new brands. And some of these entrepreneurs, most of them are not coming with a food and beverage background. They're coming from, some are doctors, some are lawyers, some are business people, some are teachers. In your experience, what has been sort of the best background? What's been some of the best experience that an entrepreneur can bring to the table, one that doesn't have a food and beverage background?
There is no recipe, which is really interesting because it's a super question. The 3 things that I look for in a brand when it comes to me is the management team. Is it financed already, or do I need to go get the money for it? And is the product relevant? Does it really have the potential to scale? Looking at #1, there are very few entrepreneurs that have the skill set to take a brand from thought process to the end zone. It really is very unique.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter what business they come from. It doesn't matter if they retired from the Postal Service, but they have a desire to want to build something and they've got jingle in their pocket to make it happen. If they have good work ethics, if they're willing to get in and roll up their sleeves and learn about the business and be a hands-on entrepreneur versus, sit back with your hands crossed like you would in all due deference in a government job where it's a weakless link. You're a link in that chain. You could be the whole chain when you're an entrepreneur. So having management around you, typically when I look for management, I try to find people that are smarter than me. People that have great expertise in a specific area, because I can train them how to be a beverage executive.
Sure.
You're not a Rhodes Scholar in this space typically. It's wisdom that comes over time, making mistakes, and God knows I've made plenty of them in my life. But that's why people come to me, because I try to help them stay within the guardrails and those parenthetical parameters that don't let them make these mistakes that take investors' capital down.
Yeah. One of the other things that's really important that everybody says in the beverage industry is to be innovative and differentiated. And I'm not going to ask you what exactly that means. I'm going to ask you to tell me some of the brands that you're invested in and that you're associated with and why you see them as being differentiated and innovative.
Right. So one of the brands I got very excited about a couple of years ago is a brand called Tio Gazpacho.
Sure.
It's still a very tiny brand.
Winner of the New Beverage Showdown, I think a New Beverage Showdown 8, I want to say?
3?
Sure.
Oh no, not that far ago.
No.
The brand is only from inception like 4 years old.
Yeah.
So it was more like 2012.
Yep.
Anyway, the brand has gone through a whole metamorphosis from the original product that hit the market at a $7.99 retail price point, only available in New York City at very few locations. It's an HPP, cold-pressed, drinkable soup. It was in a 12-ounce container.
Yeah.
We found when the product went on the shelf, the price was too high and people just weren't getting it. So we completely reformulated, took a few of the organic ingredients out. Now it's about 75% organic. Amazing taste profiles, 6 flavors in the lineup, 10-ounce bottle at $4.99. Now consumers are ready to pick it up and try it.
Right.
So we're knocking down new retailers. There's an example of being a flexible entrepreneurial company.
Right.
We're small, we have roller skates on, we're talking to our consumer. Doesn't hurt to have a great company as a partner in 301 Inc., who happens to own a soup company called Progresso.
Yeah.
So they are partners of ours in this business,
right.
And they have leaned in dramatically to help us to create this new product line. Also, we brought a major league international chef whose name is Jose Andres.
Sure.
And the Think Food Group, run by Kimberly Grant, who's an amazing CEO. to the party. So now, as I said before, we have a great brain trust around the table. Everyone is leaning in, everybody wants success, and when you have that kind of a brain trust, it's pretty hard to lose the battle.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Jim, we're out of time. How did the time fly by so quickly? This is
It always
unbelievable.
does when we talk, pal.
Well, let's do this again, maybe for an hour or so
Love
again.
to do it.
Outstanding.
Love to do it. Ray,
Jim,
thanks so
good
much.
Man. Thanks so much for
Thank
being
you,
with
buddy.
me. Appreciate it.